10%, right?
She's paying 10% down, so what's 10% down?
24,990.
990. Okay. So left owing on the house then is?
224,910.
Say that again, Marie.
$224,910.
Okay, so that's what we have left owing. So our first order of business is to find out how many payments there are. Or what, sorry, not how many payments. We know how many payments. We need to know what the payments are for this. So, and it's compounded, and payments per year is 12. And how many years is the mortgage over? 20. So my number of payments total is? 240, that's right. The interest rate on the loan is?
6%.
6%. The present value is?
224,910.
Okay. The payments we need to find out. The future value? 0. Payments per year? 12 compounds per year. Okay, great. You guys have got that down pretty well. Okay. So first thing we want to find out is what the payments are. So let's find out how many payments we have. $1,611 and 33 cents. Okay. All right. So there's my number of payments. Okay.
I got a question to ask. So, just to remind myself, that PV is the amount times the interest, or no, or 90%?
90% of 249,000.
Okay.
Because you put 10% down, and you have to pay the rest off.
Okay.
Okay, so again, not following the script just yet. I want to find out how much she's going to pay total.
Like in 6 years?
Like, no, overall in 20 years. I want to know how much she's going to pay total. So what would be the total cost of the house if she went right through and paid this 20-year mortgage off?
Is it? Give me a moment. I got 182,847. I got way more than that already.
Are you going to pay less for that mortgage?
Oh, no, I have to add it. Never mind. I did it wrong. $361,728.02. I have to check.
I want to check with that. How do I, okay, tell me how I find out how much I pay total. Right.
And then add on your down payment.
And then add on my down payment. Did you add on the down payment? That's with the down payment in it? Okay.
Yeah, I got 411. That's each page.
No, it's not too
No.
much. Are you sure you added the down payment? I don't think you
Pretty
did.
sure.
No, I
You
don't think you did.
Even
Okay.
before that.
Let me restart.
Okay, just add. Okay, so what I want right now is 240 times 1611.33. Put that into your calculators. 240 times 1611.33.
I got 386,719.2.
That's what I got. 0.2.
Okay, now add 24,990 to that.
Oh, yeah, now I got it.
What is it?
$411. $411,709.02. 20 cents.
20 cents. All right. Now, that's the total cost of the house. How much interest did I pay on that house? Quite a lot is not an answer, for the record. You could try it on your test and see how that works for you, but 411,709.20 minus 249,900. What's the interest you pay?
161,809.2.
240,000?
249,000.
I'm sorry to ask, how did you get that? I was writing something.
My interest?
Yeah.
That's how much you paid for the house total.
Okay. And subtract what is borrowed.
Nope. subtract what it's worth.
Oh,
How much was the house? What's your question? Orin,
what?
look at your question. How much did you pay for the house?
$249,900.
But you gave the bank this much money.
Okay,
So when you subtract the two, that's your interest.
okay.
Not like an actual, like,
Mhm.
We all went through this on Friday.
Yeah. So, okay, so,
that's terrible.
This is a good.
yeah, so,
Welcome to the
okay,
real world.
exactly. So how do we prevent that much interest being paid to the bank?
Yeah.
Bigger down payment, less payments.
Yeah, okay, keep going. What would you say, sorry?
Bigger down payment.
Much larger down payment, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you doubled that, you're still probably paying over 120,000. So,
Like less payments. You can do. Like instead of doing 25 years, try and do like 15 years.
okay, so I want the correct way of saying that is change your amortization. And that's what the length of the period of a mortgage is called, is amortization. Okay, so you would change the length from 20 years to 15 or 10 years if you could, which then would increase this value right here, which is your number of payments. So those are things that you will be asked to understand. How do I take down the amount of interest? Well, I can't really adjust the rate very well. I mean, you can after 5 years maybe, or after, if the interest rate changes, you could renegotiate. All right, but they're probably not going to let you do that easily. Changing your number of payments from 12 to 26 in a year can change things drastically as well. All right, if you double the amount of payments, so if you're paying it every 2 weeks, that can change things. All right, that can bring the interest down. But yeah, that was the shock factor I was looking for. I got it on Friday, got it again today. That's a lot of money on a 20-year mortgage that you're paying straight to the bank. Okay, so it's good that you see that. It's good that you understand, and it's also important that you understand there are ways around it. There are ways of doing it. Now, the types of payment plans, there is one I call the lump sum one, in which you might pay for 12 months, but at the end of 12 months, you can put as much money down as you want at that moment with no interest charged. Okay, so that's an option. There are different mortgage options out there. We don't study them near enough in this class. The Essentials class does look at all the different types of mortgages, but this is one that you do. Okay, all right. So that right there is what I need you to understand fully. How do I find out how much I'm paying total? How much interest am I actually paying over the life of a mortgage? That's what we need to know. And you have to have that down pat. That is not a lot of work there. What did I do? I found my down payment first. I found out what I had left over, and then I found my payments. And then I times my payments by my number and added to down payment. That's how much I paid total. That's it. There wasn't much there. Now, if you're to sell the house after 6 years, which is what we're going to look at, that changes everything, and we're going to go through that part of it. Go ahead.
Is there a difference between a long-term loan and a mortgage loan, or not really? Or the same thing?
Yeah, I would say it's the same thing. The difference is your mortgage is usually for property.
So
Okay.
can you get a long-term loan for a house or no?
They would call it mortgage.
But would a long-term loan have a lower interest rate or?
Not necessarily. Your interest rates are all any loan interest rates are all basically set. They don't fluctuate. Like the interest rates themselves fluctuate based on what's happening in the world. Okay, so your bank interest rates will fluctuate. Most people lock in, and they'll lock in. That's a good question. Most interest rates will lock in. They'll say we'll give you prime plus something. Okay, so whatever the prime interest rate is in the bank, they'll add on a little bit of interest to it. Okay, you can get a variable interest in which you just go with the market. and it could change monthly. Lots will lock it in for maybe 5 years because they're uncertain of whether or not the interest rate's going to go up or down. So if you're buying a house in which the interest rates are high, you're hoping it's going to go down, so you don't lock it in. But if you're getting prime plus 1, let's say, that means like 3.75% interest, you might want to lock that in for your whole length of your mortgage. All right, so there's different types of mortgages that you can look at. There's fixed mortgage, there's variable mortgages in which the interest rates change. Fixed, you're locked in for, could be the whole length of it, it could be 5 years of your 20. It doesn't matter, like, and then you could renegotiate that after 5 years is up. Okay? All right, we need to find out then. So let's do what the question asks. The question says, how much is she going to pay after 6 years? So let's go back into our steps now. We found all of this out, so we've got our number of payments. Now, what was the next thing I needed to figure out?
How many payments she made within those 6 years?
Okay, so how many payments she made within those 6 years? So what is that? So 6 times 12, which is 72 payments. Okay, still 6% interest. This number is still the same, 224, 910,
490.
right? So that stays the same. Okay, my payments stay the same. Now what I want to find is what? I want to find out how much I have left owing after 6 years. So I need to find out how much I have left owing after 6 years. So that's my future value. A little louder, David.
$182,847.90.
847
and 90 cents.
and 90 cents. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So that's how much she has left owing on the house. She's going to sell it, but she has left owing of $182,847.90. Okay, what's the next step after I found out the left owing part?
Cost of the house after the sale.
Louder?
The cost of the house after the sale.
Okay, so we need to find out what the cost of the house was. And that's based on what?
How much the house appreciates.
Okay, so it's appreciated. It's 1.2% depreciation, right? So the cost of the house, so if she sells the house now, you take 249,900 times it by 1.012 to the power of 6.
What?
That's not really well.
$268,441.30.
268.
441.
Yeah.
And 30 cents.
Okay, so the house now has been sold. You've sold it after 6 years. Now, I want you to think this through right now. Okay? So $268,000 is what she sold the house for. How much does she have to pay the bank still?
82. So.
Right. So the difference between the two then is how much she's going to actually have in the bank after the house has been sold. Okay? So the cost of the house, subtract how much she has left owing, is how much she has actual equity in the house.
$85,593.40.
$85,593.40. So that is what she has after the sale of the house. Okay, so she's paid her mortgage off, right? And that's what she has left. But, we haven't found out how much she actually put into the house yet, have we? So how do I find out how much she's put into the house after 6 years?
Subtract.
It's not subtract. How much did I put into the house after 6 years? Eli?
You just do your payments for 6 years.
Yeah. Okay. My payments being what? Eli?
1,611.32.
And how many payments of that was there?
Over 40.
That was over 20 years.
72. Or
72.
72. Oh.
Right? Okay, so 72 times 1611.33. What do I get?
11. $116,015.76.
That's how much I made in payments. Is that all I paid though?
No, that doesn't.
No.
Oh,
Add
add
your
down payment.
Add your down payment. Good, you guys are getting this.
So,
So this is how much she has back. This is how much she has paid total. Right?
Give me a second, sorry.
Okay.
9. Shoot. Why do I have to answer? $141,005.
What'd you say?
$141,005.76.
76 cents?
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you. Okay.
Mr. Nguyen, can you repeat some of that?
All right, well, where do you want me to go?
Okay, what did you times by 72? That's where that's,
Your payments.
okay.
1611.33 is how much you're making in payments, Morgan.
Okay,
Times that by 72.
I did that.
So that's how much you had in payments, but you also put down 24,990. So you have to add your down payment in. So that's how much you paid total. So add 24,990.
Okay.
And that's how I get 141,000. Okay, so after 6 years, she paid $141,005.76. She sold the house for $85,593.40.
That's how much she made. She sold the house for $268.
Oh, sorry, that's how much she made. Yeah, thank you. She made $85,593 off the sale of her house. That's what went into her account. How much did it cost her to live in the house for 6 years? How much money did she make off the sale of her house? 85. How much money did she pay into that? 141. So then how much did it cost her to live in that house for 6 years?
$55,412.36.
Okay, did everybody hear that?
No, not really.
By subtracting that from this, or that from this, it cost her $55,000 to live in that house for the 6 years. So even though she sold the house, even though she has equity in the house, she made money off the house, it still cost her money to live in the house because she sold it within the 6 years of the mortgage.
But normally, like, once you own your house and you sell it, you might end up making money.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get there. We'll get
I
there,
have
guys. Okay, so this is after 6 years.
what is
So it cost her $55,000 to live in that house after 6 years.
wouldn't it be a whole different story if the house depreciated by 1.2% each year?
Sure, then that gap would be a lot larger. Right? Which is what the other question was. 7 was like that. That depreciated. Okay, so pencils down. Let's have a look at this. This was a 20-year mortgage. So let's now look at it if she lived in it for 12 years. Let's do this whole question again based on 12 years now. All right? So, everybody's got this down that needs to have it down?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to erase the key components of it now. All right? That's gone. That's gone. Cost of the house we have to change.
Oh, okay.
All right. So now, how long did I say she's living in the house for? 12 years. So how many payments is that? What was it?
It's 144 payments.
144 payments now. So let's find out what she has left owing on the house.
$122,613.10.
Okay? You all need to be doing this on your calculator. You have to be involved here. I need you engaged. Okay? So, what's left owing? She's made 144 payments now. She still owes $122,000 on the house. So just think about this for a second. She borrowed $224, and in 12 years it took her to pay it down to a half. For the last 8 years, she's going to pay the other half. So you see how the interest works? Early on, there's a lot more interest that comes off your mortgage. Later in the payments, there's less interest coming off and more principal. So in 12 years, she paid half the mortgage down. Now she has 8 years to pay the next half off. Because the payments stay the same, but the amount of interest decreases as you pay it off. All right? So that's what she has left owing. Let's find out how much the house is worth now. 12 years.
$288,000, no, just kidding, 28,835.
I think you were right the first time.
No, I don't.
Should be closer to 288.
288,358.27.
Thank you. Emily, you did that?
No, I did it wrong.
No.
Do you know what you did wrong?
No.
So 249,900. Did you forget a zero?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. So now she sells the house for $288,358.27. How much did she have left owing? No.
Oh, no.
How much does she have left owing?
122,000.
Right. So the mortgage gets paid off. Whatever she pays off the mortgage, whatever's left, that's how much she earned. That's how much equity she had. So we take this 288,358.27, and we subtract that 122,613.
165, 745.
735,
745.
45,
0.26.
0.26.
I got 0.17.
Yeah, me too.
0.17?
Yeah.
Okay, we're just off. Morgan, pretty close. Yeah, 27 subtract 10 cents will be 1.7. Okay? All right? What does that 165, 745, 17 represent, please?
How much she made off of it?
Which we refer to as what?
Profit.
Nope. Equity. Equity. Profit, we're almost there. We're at profit. I'm going to show you that right now, actually. Okay. So once I found out how much I took out, we have to find out how much she actually paid into the house. So let's find out how much she paid into the house. 1611.33 times 144, add 24,990.
$257,021.22.
Can you repeat that, please?
Her payments
Mm-hmm.
times 144. That's what she's put into the house. But you have to also add the down payment in.
$257,000.
021.52.
Yeah. That sucks.
Now how much did it cost you to live in the house for 12 years?
So she,
91,276.
yeah,
0.35.
that's how much she made off of the thing. in Holland. So, or is that how much?
Much
How much
cost
it costs.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
never mind.
So we're still losing money.
So we have to pay the thing she's almost paid for her house. if it was
She would have paid for her house if there's no interest.
like-
So what did everybody get?
All right.
Yeah, I got the same thing.
So, what are we learning about this?
Let's
go
back
back.
forever.
Hey, child.
Hey, child. Yeah. Enjoy your grade 12. Don't
Sleep
be
like
humble
ten.
about being in grade 12. It's easy.
Living at 10.
Yeah, buy a pop-up trailer. And you can go wherever you want
I'm
then.
gonna get a mortgage on that too, I'm broke.
You're right.
You're
right. Okay, so
My credit's not affordable.
basically what we're seeing is mortgages are tough to take. They are. But everybody has to do it. All right, it doesn't matter. You've got to find something. So how can you make this work in your, in your benefit? Well,
You don't.
well, lottery obviously, but no, you know what? Hitting a market at the right time. Hitting a market at the right time. Buying low, selling high. Those are, it happens. And look at Calgary. There was this time where it just went from here up to here, and if you flip, you got that thing paid off because you added to it. Adding on to your house, putting money into your house will eventually get it. But let's be honest, in a community like Roblin, it's pretty tough to sell your house for a lot more than you bought it for because there's just not that many people that can afford that house. Right? This is not the market. All right? But the city is the market. I was mentioning the other day about Verdun. Verdun's larger than Roblin, but they went through and there was a certain time over the last 10 years in which houses just went like this because people moved in and they needed housing and there wasn't enough housing. That's lucky. All right? But those people that bought up here 3 years later are now selling it down here. So you can take a hit just as easily as you can make it. You got to be lucky. You got to be a little bit lucky on it. Okay? But the biggest thing I wanted to point out to you, how do I adjust this page? How do I adjust this page to reduce that right there? Okay? You can't change this.
Less payments.
Okay? Making bigger payments,
Larger down.
larger down payment is the biggest, right? This was all set up for a 10% down payment. If we redid this question with, let's say this wasn't your first house, let's say you had enough money and you doubled that to $48,000, okay? And you paid off, or even $50,000. If you paid $50,000 down on this house, that would be a significant change. The more down payment you can put on it, that's instant equity, no interest. That's what you want to see. Okay? Yeah, go ahead.
War mortgages, are they locked in, say, if you come across, say if you get a better career, you come across the amount of money to pay off your house, can you do that, or are you locked in?
You're never locked in, but they're still going to take money away from you based on the interest that they were supposed to earn. So it's a lot less. That's the ideal situation. Increasing your payments, the amount on your payments, or paying a lump sum. So some mortgages allow for that without penalty. Some mortgages, you'll have a penalty because they're basing all of their numbers on them getting the interest out of you.
So I know, back in the day, I remember my dad told me about, he got a loan for a vehicle or whatever, and then he went to the rigs and got a whole bunch of money off it, so he just, paid it off right there, and they got right mad at him. Because, you shouldn't be doing that, because they want to make money off it.
Yeah, for sure. No, there'll still be some penalty, okay? But not unless you're agreement has worked into the fact that that is a possibility that can happen. Like I said, there's different types of mortgages or loans in which you can create a lump sum in there. So you have a one-time, no interest, once a year, or maybe after 5 years, whatever the term is, you have a bunch of money you can put down. It's basically like increasing your down payment, but that is a possibility. And yes, banks don't like it because they factor in their interest. That's how they make the money. But nowadays, they make enough money on everything else that they're not that concerned about that. Okay. All right. Any other questions about this?
So
Go
the
ahead,
bigger, the bigger your first payment, your down payment, the better.
Yes. Yes.
So
So
if you
the less money you have to borrow then,
Mhm.
right? So the less money you have to borrow, the better off you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, and it doesn't change with vehicles. Like vehicles, same thing. Like when I don't know if you guys have been at a point where you've exchanged vehicles yet, but if you are going to, your best bet's not to trade it in. You're going to, because they need to make money off the trade-in, right? So the best thing that you can do is sell your vehicle privately and use all of the cash for your new vehicle. Because again, what am I doing? I'm needing less money to borrow then at that point. And they'll tell you that straight up. If you can sell your vehicle privately, you get a number from them, let's say your vehicle, they'll give you $4,000. If they're giving you $4,000, it's probably worth $5,500 maybe. Now I have $5,500 to pay down on my new vehicle, all right, on a vehicle in which they were only going to give me $4,000 on, okay? Now I got $5,500 to put down. I got to borrow less money then in order to pay it off. Always, if you can, sell your vehicle privately rather than trade it into the dealership. That's how you get ahead on your next vehicle. Okay? They're going to give you a price, but they're going to make money off of you, and then they're going to make money off the next guy that buys that vehicle.
It's like a tax bill.
Pretty much. It's a finance, right? It's basically a finance tax to make their money. Make sense? And same thing, housing. Yeah.
Only thing about that, it sucks, like, you just wanna, sell it privately, but you can't sell it. And then you got like this,
Well, I mean, you're always going to be able to trade it in.
Yeah.
Right? But and today with the internet being the way it is, it's much easier to sell something online now and advertise it for cheap compared to what it was 10 years ago where you had to wait for the auto trader to come out once a week and once, right? Like, well,
so you
that's,
all traders and all the people.
yeah, like that was all you had. So you had to pay to advertise in the auto trader, and then you pay for the. Now you do everything free online, so it's a lot easier to sell your vehicle now. Okay, same with houses. Risk, but you can sell your house online, or at least put it online and let people know that it's for sale. Okay, any other questions about this? Again, this is important stuff for you. This should be of interest to you because we are talking about stuff that does directly affect you now. All this algebra and stuff that you've done up to this point, it doesn't have the same effect that this stuff does on you.
This sucks.
Okay? It's math. You don't like any math.
I know.
Okay,
Glue in the
you
bush.
have today to get your test prep. Did I give you the
Yes.
pre-test? Okay, pre-test is coming in a few minutes then. Okay?
When's the test?
Thursday?
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah. Isn't that what we agreed on or no? Or we
We
talked about it?
didn't even talk about it.
Okay, well, if we pre-test today, we'll Thursday at the latest.
You said we were doing assignment too, though.
Pardon me?
You said we were doing assignment too. I don't know.
Okay, I haven't looked at it, so. Okay, you get at it and I'll get here like organized for the rest of the week.
Can I listen to music today?
So much time. What did you do?